The Share Pickers Weekend Podcast with Justin, Paddy, Peter and Steve. The content of this podcast is not intended as investment advice. It is for information purposes only. People in this podcast may hold positions in the stocks they talk about. Do not buy anything based solely on a tip or recommendation. Please do your own research.
Welcome to the Weekend Podcast. In fact, let's take the register. Let's take the register because there's been a few absences of late. Pete's turned up for class quite a few times, but
thank you.
Paddy's dipped in and dipped out. He's just left class halfway through. Steve's been a no-show. So, Pete.
Present.
Good. Paddy. Easy, got it again. Steve.
Yes, sir.
Hi.
Oh, Paddy's he's just come in to the back. Yeah, do you want to be a bit more punctual, Pad? Okay.
Yeah.
It starts it starts now anyway. But so, Paddy, where have you been? Let's go with Paddy. Paddy, where have you been? Because you're on a plane showing off. And then Steve's not been here, been on a plane showing off. I don't know if he's been on a plane, but what have you been doing, Pad?
40,000 feet.
Yeah, go on.
I went to New York, and then I went to Miami, and then I went up to Jensen Beach in Florida, and then came back down to Miami, and then came home.
Are you allowed to say what you're doing? Why are you doing that?
No.
Okay. But
it's just work. I'm working in America at the moment.
Okay, why are you standing so far away from your microphone? You sound distant.
I'm not. I'm literally right next to it.
Oh, are you? So, you don't use that one for voiceovers, do you? Because, it sounds very distant. It's like a voice booth, environment there.
Maybe I've got it turned around the wrong way. Is that better?
No.
I can't really hear myself. Hello?
This is a good start. I'm going by Paddy's running order, by the way. Justin's meandering rant at the start. Hey, Steve, what have you been doing, fella?
I've been busy. What was I doing last week when I could make it? Oh, yeah. I was doing a coastal walk from Port Talbot to Swansea, and then we ended up in a bit of a pub crawl at the end. That's why I couldn't make last week.
That's nice. How is so? Listen, I did. By the way, this is the WhatsApp chat this week. Okay, I said I tweeted in there. Salt Lake Potash has gone bust. Steve, what will they do with the lake?
Valid question, I thought.
Pete said fishing. Okay, see, when your business changes like that, that's a change in business model. Okay, we're now just going to rent out licenses for fishing in the salt lakes. It's you're going to get out, but So
well, it makes sense for fish and chips. You need less salt then.
It's pre-added. Yeah, it's already baked in, literally. Yeah. So we sort of got out of that. I mean, it did drop. We got out, but we did check if Pete, I think you checked if Steve is still in, because normally Steve keeps him in the fun corner, but he doesn't call them the fun corner. He calls them the break-even Stephen corner. Wait to take it back. But what any lessons from that, lads, from Salt Lake Potash? Because that's unbelievable, isn't it? I know people did try and jump in there, because I said, it's priced to go bust. It was for a while. It was just dipping down. And sometimes you can get that sort of death revival, spike up, and some people jump in. I said, if they secure funding, it's not for me, I'm not doing it. If they secure funding, in fact, we've named a channel in Discord, Pete, Fun Corner, for people who just want to punt on some stocks. But I said, if they secure funding, it's priced to go bust now. It'll really rally. It'll do like 100% probably in a day or something. And I think, some people did go in there. And, of course, you don't want to wake up of a morning and get that RNS said we've gone into administration, because that is too risky, isn't it? And what's your thoughts? Any thoughts on Salt Lake Potash? Paddy, Pete, Steve?
Well, Steve should go. Steve was there till the bitter end, really, wasn't he? Almost.
Yeah, that was a bit of a mistake, wasn't it? Yeah, I think I saw that about 60. Was it about 60% down or something? Yeah, not good, is it? Yeah, I think I'm just going to stay away from the potash from now on.
That's the lesson, is it? That's the lesson. Stay away from potash. Right, okay.
I think my instinct with that right at the start was this isn't a good idea for a company. And I got bullied into buying it.
So Paddy's got this. He has got this blame culture syndrome going on. Pad, you're not going to be a good investor if you blame other people. I did not bully. I did not grab your finger and say type your password in and press the buy button. Did I?
You pretty much did.
I didn't. Can you not speak through that toilet roll holder?
I think I made some money on it in the end, but not very much. It was a good time to get out. And I was.
So I like the way Paddy said, right, I was bullied into buying it. I think I made some money on it, though.
Yes.
So what? I didn't make any money. No? If I bullied you into buying it, should I made you that money? You should send me that money over, I think, Pad. That's what you should do. You know, any trolls blame anyone else for their losses must also give them a cut of the profits. If they make a bit of profit on any stocks that they jumped in and didn't do any research on, they should give the profit a thing. But first and foremost, I mean,
it was off strategy, wasn't it? From the
yes,
start?
it was. It was a resource company. The reason why I thought that is, I thought it's towards cash flow. But again, I believed Tony. I believed him. And that's why you should never go by what a CEO says ever. Go by the actions, not the words. And in my mind, there's a couple of red flags here. And never give management a second chance ever. There's plenty of opportunities. 2,000 listed companies out there. You don't have to stick with the one you're in if you question it or doubt it in any way. Like first and foremost, they were fully funded to get to production. Then they raised some money. So why is it? What's going on there? As it was, just a problem with getting the debt facility over line. And then they raised money again. So get out. At that point, just get out. There's no excuses. Just get out. They've lied or they've told. They've veered away from the plan. And it isn't going to plan. Get out straight away. That's just 2 red flags. Then they had a problem with the debt, and then something else, and then the CFO stepped down or something, and it's so many red flags there. And then the CEO obviously got sacked, don't give them a second chance.
Yeah, and the CEO being on Twitter ramping the stock effectively. That's the other flag.
In fact, last week's poll, go on.
It's vulgar, isn't it? So it's
it is vulgar, very vulgar.
How could you ever trust him ever again in any other company? That's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah. In fact, you should have replied to him on that, Peter. Then just say very vulgar, Tony. Very vulgar.
Vulgar.
I like that one. Vulgar.
How long do we back though? How long do we give it?
No, you won't be back. I shouldn't think so.
Won't be back.
No. Well, listen. Anyway, a resource company for me. No, my strategy is to get. Micro caps they have the potential to get to mid caps, right? But they have to be at the level where they're generating revenue. So already that cuts it. If you look at a company that's not generating any revenue, in my mind, take it off your list. If it's not going towards profitability, take it off your list, and that will take out a lot of the risk. Because investing is about risk and reward, isn't it? And if you can cut down as much of the known risks as possible, you've got a good chance of capturing that reward. But I mean, there are people out there who I'm convinced I see on Twitter just enjoy the gamble element of it. I don't enjoy that. I want to make money. The thing is, I see people on thinking, take the punt on this. A company's dropped on bad news. They just jump in expecting a rebound. I'm thinking, why? The business is obviously getting worse. Why are you investing? I assume they're not investing. They're just taking a punt, aren't they?
I enjoy an educated gamble. Like the fun.
You can argue that with anything, can't you? You can argue it's an educated gamble. Can't you?
But no, there's gambling, and then there's just throwing good money after bad, and just being a very, very high risk and a real punt. I don't get into that anymore.
If I'm looking at, let's say I'm at the horse track, right, in Cheltenham, and I look at the horse and say, right, he's racing. That horse here, he's got 4 legs. He's got odds. How educated? I said I'm going to gamble on him because that's an educated gamble. He's in the race. He's got 4 legs. How educated do you have to be?
No. Okay, to take that analogy, in that scenario, a couple of favourites that have done well on that ground, that going, and have having a good season or whatever, and their odds are like 10-1, 15-1. That's an educated gamble. The donkey at the back, there's 100-1 that just, blimey, if I put a tenner on that, we'll get £1,000. That's a ridiculous gamble. That's a silly gamble. That's the punt. There you go.
Okay. Honestly, I don't enjoy gambling. We used to go to Cheltenham. I don't enjoy it. I do not enjoy it.
You enjoyed it when I won the place pot and gave you
a... I enjoyed that.
Enjoy it when I'm not there.
Yeah, that was the year Steve wasn't there, and we basically all made money, and Steve wasn't there. But no, I genuinely, I know, some of the mates there, they enjoy it. I do not. I hate losing money. And so, my strategy has come up with, is a way of reducing the chances of losing money, essentially. And that's where everything's a gamble. Investing is a gamble, but you can manipulate the odds in your favour if you do enough research and you have enough check boxes to tick. Like for small caps, any company, the biggest risk is cash. If they haven't got any cash or they're not generating cash, where are they getting the cash from? And so when you're a company like Potash, for example, we're not generating any cash. that raise debt. And that's why I don't like resource companies, even though they, people say, they're going into production. Okay, but they're going to take on a lot of debt, first of all. And there's that massive stumbling point, where they have a lot of debt, no revenue. You don't need to do that. There's companies organically growing. Okay, they won't maybe grow as fast if they get there, but they're organically growing without the need of debt,
When you talk about like lessons learned, I think on this one, on Salt Lake Potash, it was actually an example of, for me anyway, of actually implementing a lesson I'd already learned previously. And I took 28%. I took a 28% loss on Salt Lake Potash, but the point is I got out at that point, and that's because I've been burned before. So it's like you've got to take that. It's a horrible, horrible hit, but you've got to take that because as then it has unraveled. I didn't sell at 80% down or whatever. I got out at 28% down.
Yeah, do you know what?
That's a lesson.
Yeah, I think that is a point. People have problems cutting the losses. I tend not to because I see when I log in, I see my top line figure there. And that's baked in. That loss is baked in. I'll just take the loss. And I think the way to... How can you help people? Steve does that. Steve doesn't want to take a loss. Break even Steve. Do you, Steve? You don't want to take a loss in a company. Now, the way to think of that always, and I think, is like, but that money, it's likely to go further down, but your chances of that money going up are better if you put it in a better company, So reallocate that. It's just think of it as capital. Reallocate it to a more efficient company or business, not in an old nag. Like I said, you are literally sell a load of dogs to buy a thoroughbred, or a lot of donkeys to buy a thoroughbred. That's what you've got to think of, I think. Well, why winners go on to win? They keep winning. Losers tend to keep losing, because that was never going to bounce back. So, yeah. So, is your thought? Why do you have a problem just cutting on a loss, Steve?
I think it's just because I've been stung a few times where I've done that. I've sold, taken that advice, sold it, put it into another company, and then that one's halved. And it's like, oh, great. Yeah. So, and it's not the second company's not paid off. So I'm like, it probably wouldn't have gone down that far in the other company. So it would be better off leaving it there. So
I just thought of that. Right, I'll reallocate that capital to a better company. Oh, that's halved. Right, let's find another company to reallocate that to. You're reallocating £1. Oh, reallocate that one.
Suddenly you get to a point and it costs more to sell your share than it does to actually just keep it and let it just die.
But that's because, our investing journey's evolved a little bit from, micro-cap resource companies with no revenue to, and now decent. It comes to the end of the day, it seems obvious, doesn't it? But invest in improving businesses. We are investing in businesses. Invest in ones that are improving. When you've got resource companies digging around in the dirt in Africa, so we found 0.02% copper 60 metres down. I don't care. I do not care what you got down there in the mud.
We did a lot of investing on that kind of stuff back in the day, though, didn't we?
Yeah. It's evolving of the education, your knowledge, isn't it? Really?
Also, you need to understand all of those industries. You've done quite well at actually educating yourself on a lot of that stuff, but to most people, understanding the intricacies of the copper mining industry in Indonesia is a lot of effort and probably beyond the people.
Well, Pete's still an arseholder.
I am still an arseholder. Hey, good news on arse this week. Potential, big mutterings of potential joint venture.
What happened there? Some guy
transferred his holding into the company that is potentially a joint venture partner.
Pete, you're still in a better stock than I am. I'm still in Europa Metals, so
There you go.
That's if you weigh those two up, I'd say definitely that Asia Met is the better one because even though with jurisdictions wise, Europa Metals is better because it's in Europe, in Spain. So, but if you look at the resource and the management, then Asia Met is better. The jurisdiction is not so good. Indonesia, is it really? Well, some people say it's not. But I suppose the resource, they're in copper, and the management, Tony Manini. I do like Tony. Yeah. He's an experienced guy who knows what he's doing. So look at the news on ours then. Was a guy from an Indonesian mining company didn't invest some money in there, didn't he?
He was the holder, and he's transferred. You can tell I'm all across this story.
Mr. Ashish Gupta. There we are. He now owns...
that's the fella.
Has notified the company that he's transferred his entire shareholding in the company to PT Delta Duna Makmir Tibiki Doid. I don't know, Doid. Following acquisition shares, Doid now has a 15.36% shareholding in the company. So people say, oh, look, he wouldn't be buying that if he wasn't serious. Really? Yeah. And when you... that's another thing, right? There's a lot of people on Twitter who basically trade on nudges and winks, don't they? They say, ooh, hey, oh, nudge, nudge, ooh. That generally is not an investing strategy, you know? Just, oh, look, there's a shareholder there who's got some money. So what? Those guys tend to, even with funds, you know, funds own hundreds of companies. They're prepared to have a few duds. They don't mind. But, you know, I'm looking at the Asian Met thing. 90 metres at 1.6% zinc, 0.7% lead. Oh, I do not. All that. I used to get into that, but
Yeah, exactly. You used to be really into that.
What percentage of your portfolio does that take up, Pete? Asian Met?
Asian Met, about 4%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pat, your mic is dreadful. It's literally you are speaking through the cardboard innard of a toilet roll.
Take that saucepan off your head.
Which is weird because he's usually like booming over us, isn't he?
Yeah. What have you've changed something, Patrick?
I don't know what I've changed.
It's almost like it's not plugged in. It's almost like you're speaking on the mic on your computer, but you think you're plugged in, talking through the mic, and it's not working. I have that on the podcast. Someone's going, I just bought a new headset. Is it sounding good? And it sounds dreadful. Even though you plugged it in, it's not actually hooked up. It's not connected.
Yeah.
Is this is a technical talk in the running list? No, it's not. It's not actually. So
Paddy says, "Oh, nothing's changed." Although, no, I am talking down this metal tube.
Yeah, I've added this. Yeah.
Changing anything?
So anyway, Patrick, one lesson learned from Salt Lake Potash. Then, Paddy and Steve and Pete, if you can, your lesson is Pete's lesson was to.
Get out. Don't be afraid to take the loss.
Yeah, remember your lesson.
Yeah, because I was a couple of weeks behind you, Pete, wasn't I? And I literally did another 30% on your 30%. So
he's behind you.
Are you blaming me or?
Yeah.
Right.
No, I'm only blaming you for... Well, what was I blaming you for?
I don't know. Who knows?
You're not oil and gas, I think it was.
That's the one, yeah. I still blame you for that.
Yeah, blame Pete. Yeah, UOG.
I think it's working now.
Oh, there we are. Yeah, go on. Look at that. It's like you come to the front of the room where the mic is.
The microphone wasn't plugged in.
Yeah, that's a tricky one. That's a tricky one. Technically, it's very complicated, isn't it? I was not actually plugged in.
I just noticed that the microphone wasn't actually plugged into the computer.
You're the guy that used to run a TV station.
I know,
radio.
Well, I can't think what's wrong. Let's have a look around here.
Why do I sound echoey?
Why are we not on air? I have no idea. I don't know why we're not on air. Hang on a sec. Oh, hang on. There's the plug for the studio is not in.
Start the podcast again.
Yeah. So, in fact, last week...
your bits in. Re-record your bits, Paddy.
Yeah, you can do the editing.
You said something earlier, guys. Come on.
last week, we talked about macro bearish, micro bullish. By that I mean people tend to focus on the macro and get a bit bearish, you know. But you look at your own stocks and get a bit bullish. But don't let them... If you like a business, you invest in a business. My advice, and if you read that book, 100 Baggers book, right? The guys who've captured 100 baggers completely ignored the macro. Because there's no way you can bring... economists, forecasters generally are not that good. And everyone now is starting to worry about inflation or a recession. Markets tend to climb a wall of worry. And recessions don't tend to be that well predicted, okay? So if people are worrying, the herd of worrying, it's usually a good time to buy. Because you never predict a recession. And so, do you know what? Even now, if you look at inflation, right? The Bank of England governor, I like the governor, Andrew Bailey. All right, yeah, I'm the governor, mate. Yeah, I'm in charge of the money. Yeah, all right, yeah. Now inflation is going to get up to 5% this year, probably next year. All right, yeah. So I might be ramping up the interest rates. Get me? Right. Don't argue because I'm the governor, all right?
The way this country's going, that's how we're going to end up. That is going to be the governor.
Oi! It's about the reason why. Do you know why? So they always say it's transitory, the inflation, right? That means, it's not going to last for long. But of course, life is transitory. I know how long is it going to be? So everything's transitory pretty much, isn't it? But if you look at it, what's causing... Let's have a quiz here. What is causing... higher prices? Now, you can't use the Brexit word, right? I'm talking about real things. Brexit, Tories. Pat, you can't use that. Tories.
Well, I mean, it's got something to do with it, isn't it? I mean, it's not helping.
It's not helping, no. But if you yesterday I was watching CNBC and literally did an hour's talk on supply chains and clogging up there and all that stuff and prices rising. So it's around the world. It's not just
but we've made it harder for ourselves by also doing that at the same time. So
love a challenge, isn't they? UK always love a challenge. So why are prices rising then, boys? Hey,
well, supply problems.
Yes,
that's one.
Yeah, what's wrong with supply?
There are problems getting supply of a lot of things.
Yes. Why?
Brexit.
No. If you go around the world, why is there problems with supply? Steve, if join in if you
lack of HGV drivers.
Part of it, yes.
A global pandemic.
That's it. Now, if you look at what's happened, right? We've gone from shutting down, people are ill, all that stuff. Then we go into a season where people start reopening the economy. Okay, everyone starts buying again. Christmas is around the corner. 2-3 billion people celebrate Christmas. They're buying like crazy. And then, manufacturers say, oh, by the way, you may not have your favourite toys this Christmas. Oh, let's buy it now. We're going to buy it. So everyone's buying it. It's chock a block. There's a lack of HGV drivers as well. There's now a container port. You can't hire a container. The price of containers gone up massively. So shipping costs and everything gone up. So it's those costs that have gone up. It's all those costs, and then you've got oil price going up because reopen the economy, all that. Is that going to last for long?
Hopefully not.
Well, if you think about it, right, it's the busiest time of the year, right on the back of an opening of the economies from a pandemic, right? Right when you've got people in China as well, some of the factories are not fully stocked with people, and there's shortages everywhere. In fact, China's shutting down parts of the economy. So you've got that problem there, that bottleneck. But I think after Christmas, right, it'll take not straight away, because it doesn't happen with that. You've got the January sales then. But after Christmas, there'll be less people needing goods shipped around the world early, won't there? I mean, and I just think it'll ease off. The price of container port will go down. So I don't think it's going to be here forever. People aren't worrying about inflation going up. And in fact, you see Mattel, Barbies, they just said, it said the toy giant. That's Mattel.
Giant toy.
Yeah, Mattel. They say that higher prices than around Christmas have not dulled people's appetites for toys. Barbie maker Mattel has said. So they said...
But they would say that, wouldn't they?
Yeah. But no, they said third quarter sales.
Very keen to underline that.
They can't lie about their quarterly sales, can they? They're up 8% to 1.8 billion.
They can polish it a little, can't they?
Yeah, and they expect a strong Christmas. I like a strong Christmas.
Yeah, but they might just put their prices up. They're selling less, but at a higher price.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, I think the interesting thing is the
sales
prices,
have grown.
isn't it?
Sales have grown.
Sales have gone up. All right.
Yeah. Go on, Pad.
So, I think a lot of people get a little bit stressed out when they hear people talking about how climate change is going to screw up everything, but then forget about the real world effects of that. So energy prices have gone through the roof over the last year, and a lot of that is down to environmental factors. So there was a really cold winter in Europe, which has forced up prices. Really hot summer in Asia and other places around the world, which increased demand for electricity and gas in those areas for air conditioning. And that has forced up the price of energy because wholesale prices have gone up so much. Now, that's not going away anytime soon. Those same environmental factors are going to be an issue for forever. So unless we can figure out a way of getting some cheap energy into our system again, like we have done for the last 30, 40 years through fossil fuels, we're going to have to get used to those higher prices, and that's going to transfer into absolutely every part of life.
Oh, look at Paddy. He's been doing some macro reading, isn't he? Hey!
You'd like to think, though, because that is now going to be a trend which is not going to change, you'd like to think that they will start heavily investing in... Well, in fact, they already announced it this week, didn't they? Yeah. Into more renewable... And I have no idea why we've not built another nuclear power station in this country, why they scrapped that one that China were going to build a couple of years ago. That was a no-brainer.
They want China in charge of our nuclear power, do you? Yeah. Really? But no,
but why have we not? But why have we generally not built another power? Like, we've got no nuclear power now in the UK.
So expensive. About £30 billion.
I'll borrow a line from Paddy. It's Tories, isn't it? Like a planet.
It's the Tories, yeah. They don't forward think.
If they're 30 billion, we could have just saved that on the test and trace app thing. Built a nuclear power station. There you go.
Yeah, if you want to magic that money out of thin air, you can do it. But
also, we've also realised 30 billion isn't actually that much in the grand scheme of things when we've gone through this pandemic, and 30 billion
Let's just get rid of these Trident submarines. Plug them into the grid. They'll be fine. They're not doing anything. But there needs to be some forward planning in terms of that. But that's an issue with like our politics in this country. Like we're always thinking 4 years down the line rather than 20 years down the line.
I don't think you can just plug those things into the grid.
Right,
I think you need some kind of adapter or something, you know? Because
definitely need a waterproof one, not just a normal 13 amp socket.
Because some kind of adapter there. Because Paddy's had problems plugging his mic in, let alone plugging a nuclear power thing. The thing. No, but the thing is, I think what you do learn. I mean, the Tories are a bit bad on planning. In fact, just going off piece here. Did you see the update by Sajid Javid? It was hilarious, right? Because he stood there saying, "No, we're not going to do anything yet because there's nothing in the figures that will cause us to worry in any way whatsoever." Now I'm going to hand over to the figures lady, and every metric she talked about was going up. And I said, "See, someone's coming." Someone saying, "You've done me there, love. I was thinking that it was all good, and you just showed all these figures with graphs going up like crazy. What's wrong with you?" And so I just don't understand why you say, "Listen, just put some masks on in the public, okay? If it's going to help, just do that."
We've been here before, haven't we? Have we not been here before? Have they not learned? Is nobody who's a Tory voter not looking at this going, hang on, I'm sure this has happened 2 or 3 times in the past.
I was just thinking, just a bit of planning. We know what's going to happen. You say we don't need plan B. Next week, plan B will come in.
Plan B. We'll be on plan C by Christmas.
I know, we know it. No, we're not going to plan B. No, we're not going to plan B. Right, next week. We implemented plan B. Well, you just said last week, and we said you wouldn't.
No, it'll be, no, we don't need plan B. Don't need plan B. No. Fast track to plan F.
I know.
Right.
But no, I think, do you see that guy actually, he's very good. He's from the Financial Times, I think. I can't think of his name. He does lots of charts on COVID.
Murdoch.
Yeah. Just someone telling now. He's saying the problem is our successful vaccine campaign is a bit of the problem because now the elderly people who really need the vaccines, their immunity is getting a bit low, so they need the booster jabs, and now they're sort of ramping up the booster jabs there. But we're going to get more cases. There's 1,000 hospitalizations.
This is another one that's very easy to predict, isn't it? They knew this was going to happen, so just get ahead of it. Once, just get ahead of it.
Yeah. So what I'm worried about is that the fact is. Partly why they're banging on about this renewables and the new energy strategy, the transition, and why they're investing in that is because we've been held to ransom, over gas from Putin. And people say, "Oh, Putin's putting the price down." He's not. You can't rely on someone like Putin or Putin. I say it's Putin, isn't it? That's how you pronounce it, like a tin full of poo.
Right.
But you can't. So I think if anything, they'll learn from this. We have to be independent, And do you know we have one of the biggest wind farms in the world? Do you know that?
Yeah, it's really impressive. Some good work there. But it's not very cheap.
In the North Sea?
But all the cows are drowned. But so what comes off that, of course, is stuff like, electricity. Then you can change that into... I've learned about green hydrogen this week. Do you know hydrogen is colourless, but they're categorising it into 3 areas, or 4 now, actually, turquoise as well, but grey, blue and green. Steve, tell us what grey hydrogen is. Excellent.
Steve.
He's not there. He's gone.
He's there. He's just not saying
Steve,
it.
you can't.
Sorry, my mic was muted then. So yeah.
Go on then. Oh, I muted it again.
I have no idea.
Anyone else know what grey hydrogen is? Anyone else?
From natural gas.
Yeah, it's from fossil fuels basically. So gas. Yeah,
okay.
Anything from with it. Anyone know what blue hydrogen is?
I don't know.
It's the same thing, but with carbon capture. So the whole thing is carbon, isn't it? Carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. It's a greenhouse gas. It warms up the planet, and we're making too much of it. So we're basically too warm, and so that's warm up. We've got to stick trying to get to 1.5 degrees centigrade. So we have to produce now energy that doesn't produce carbon dioxide.
So blue's bad then, is it?
So
blue's not great either.
Blue's not great. No, but at least you're trying to capture while you extracting the hydrogen from fossil fuels. At least you're trying to capture the carbon. So that's blue. That's one better. Now, green is the one. In fact, they talk about turquoise as well from nuclear. But green is basically from...
I thought turquoise was methane.
Methane, is it? Yeah, sorry, it is. Yeah. I've lost the colour. I'm colourblind. But so green is the one where it comes from...
We should explain that this is how they create the hydrogen. So what power do they use to create the hydrogen from water?
Yes, so they create the power from solar or from renewables. So the power comes from the wind farms and the solar panels, and then they use electrolysis. Water, basically, if you look at water, Steve, or anyone, what is the chemical symbol for water?
H2O.
What did you say, Steve?
I thought it was O2.
O2, that's an arena, isn't it?
Yeah, that's an arena.
You're thinking of...
Right, my bad.
Yeah,
that's where you go and watch steps and stuff, Steve.
Yes, you're getting confused there. No, you've got part of it there. See, H2O. So there's 2 bits of hydrogen, 1 bit of oxygen there. But if you want to separate those, you have to put electrolysis. And you do that in
pass
water.
Electricity.
Yes, exactly. And you capture the hydrogen, see, and then that's energy. You store that, you can take it around and all that stuff. But it's better, apparently, it's better energy density than batteries. So if you they're saying, and in fact, I watched the CNBC documentary on it saying that they don't think battery-powered trucks are viable because the batteries have to be so big and they'll take up so much to storage. It's not viable for transport. The hydrogen would be a lot better for that, and for trains because the energy density is a lot better. You can store a lot more energy in the same amount of space than so it'll be good for the trains, or buses. And in fact, in Germany already they're using green hydrogen to power their network, and they've got the hydrogen structure over here. Anyway, that's,
there's a lot of talk about changing over the gas network in the UK to hydrogen as well. So actually using it in boilers. Because it'd be quite a simple thing to switch over.
One of my filters, one of my filters on the investment strategy, right, is it in a hot commercial sector? Is it going to be massive? Is it going to be growing for long term? If you do, even you don't have to, it's good to get the top dog in any sector. But if you're in a sector like that, so hot, and let's be honest, there's nothing hotter, than climate. But there's nothing hotter at the moment than climate change, isn't it? Action against it. COP26 is coming up. World leaders go to Glasgow, and but there's nothing, is it? There's no bigger trend in the world, is there, than climate change, is it? Or the energy transition. There's no bigger. So you need to get exposure to that area somewhere because it'll be a good trend for 20, 30 years. So that's a good thing. And
so what are the opportunities, like, in terms of investing?
Well, I don't know, but if you look at, any renewables, there are 7 different types of renewables. You know that? Do you know what they are? I don't know.
So, no, but back when we were talking about Powerhouse Energy a couple of years ago, and obviously that's done very well.
In fact, only one of the guys on the webinar, Steve, in fact, Shoeshine Steve, he took that from, obviously, our podcast, because he heard about it so much. Do you remember the Shoeshine boy? Paddy kept making fun and saying I mentioned that every podcast, but there's a guy, one of the members of on Discord, calls himself Shoeshine Steve, and I thought it was Steve Martin, but it wasn't. Steve, he did a presentation on the webinar this week about GTC, very interesting there, and he was saying that, in fact, he said very interesting, is that Powerhouse Energy, that would be because they're burning plastic to get syngas. I don't know if they're using carbon capture. That would be blue. Maybe they are capturing the carbon. So maybe that's blue. That's blue hydrogen, not green. See?
Are they burning it? I didn't think they were burning it.
Well, no, they're
it's gasification.
Gasification, isn't it? So they're raising the temperatures. Well, I suppose it is. The temperatures are like 1,500 degrees centigrade.
Well, that's burning it, I suppose. Yeah.
I suppose. Yeah, that's going to be hot. Isn't it?
But in terms of the opportunities, what I suppose I'm getting at is it people producing hydrogen, people who have the technology to use the hydrogen?
I think anyone selling hydrogen, even in balloons, stuff like that. Yeah. Balloon sellers, these guys who do twisty balloons.
Hydrogen balloons?
Theme parks.
It's not hydrogen, dude.
Yeah, that's helium.
Yeah. They did have, they did use...
The joke works, but...
Yeah, don't deconstruct it.
Don't give kids hydrogen balloons.
No. But they did, you know what? That's odd. They did use hydrogen, didn't they? In the original blimps in World War... that is insane.
Yeah.
Yes. But that... Oh, I'm going to go... I don't know. That's to explode, isn't it? No?
Yeah. It did explode.
Yeah, that's why they did keep exploding. That's why they stopped using it.
That's why they went to helium then, didn't they?
Guys, read new gas. This is not working.
Yeah. Anyway, exposure. I think anything, really. Look into that, because the massive...
take a look at GTC, guys. It's great.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Pat. I'll look at that. Thanks for that.
Did you get that from the webinar, Pat? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, I watch the webinar every Tuesday.
Yeah, okay. Didn't watch it. Anyway, let's...
I didn't. Sorry. Right, so... Yes,
I'm just saying, looking at it, if you come up with anything, boys, and in fact, I've asked the Shipping Investment Club, I said, guys, look in this area, look at the hot trends in this area, right? Anything in this area, because there's more coming along, but if you can get a foothold in a company like that, anywhere along that line, it's worth looking at. So,
to bring this back to what we started on, if hydrogen is the answer to some cheap and regular... like we want to get back to a system where, like you're saying, we want to be vaguely independent of Russia or of anyone else supplying our energy. We are an island. We are surrounded by water. There is lots of opportunity to create hydrogen, as long as we can create electricity in a green way. So this is something which you would hope a lot of thought was going into, but then also changing over our system so that cars and trucks and houses could run on hydrogen a bit easier. This is a win-win. This is really simple. Just get it done, guys. Just crack on.
Renewable resources. Because if you look at it, we're not good with solar. We haven't got a lot of sun here, have we? So, but we've got lots of wind farms.
Well, you say that. I've got my solar panels on my roof now, and I am, from the 6 or 7 panels I've got, I'm generating enough for my house.
Are you?
Now, my street, yeah. So I'm not going to be paying any electricity bills anymore.
All right, get in there, Pat.
Yeah, but my house is a terrace street, so there's 100 houses down my street. They're all pointing in exactly the same direction. All of the houses down this road could have the same system, and we would be generating electricity for the grid really easily. Now, you look at all these new housing developments that are going in. They're not being designed with that in mind. They're not being designed with solar panels on the roof. The houses aren't being built facing the southeast so they can generate the most electricity. There are some really simple things that they could do with the planning laws just to make new houses completely self-sufficient.
Yeah, and then you couldn't have all houses facing southeast, because that would be a really weird road network, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
No, maybe. But you could have a lot of them.
All right.
And you could have areas within the housing development where there is a space where solar panels could go on. They could create some sort of shelters above car parking areas. Like there are clever things that you can do to build that.
Why don't they? Well, I suppose part of their house is going to be south facing, isn't it? Because there's 2 sides to a house roof, really, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, so you can design a house so even if it's not facing southeast, some of its roof is. Yeah.
So anyway, companies you need to look for, right? Anything is solar, wind energy, hydroelectric, ocean energy, geothermal, biomass, hydrogen. Those are the 7 types of renewable energy.
Okay.
There we are. Biome technologies, by the way, that's another sort of in the area of hot. Do you see that the tweet they put out this week?
Yes.
But it's odd that they said basically what they say. They said, "Are you fed up with plastic littering when you're walking? Our technology can prevent a huge 2,500 or 2,500 tons of plastic waste from spoiling and polluting our beautiful countryside. Find out how on October the 25th." So basically, giving you a heads up. There's an RNS coming on Monday, isn't it? Really? Isn't that what they're saying?
Yeah. Well, potentially.
Now, apart from doing the biodegradable plastic coffee pods and all that stuff, filter mesh and all that stuff, they've been doing this trial with tree shelters. I didn't realise this. Most trees, new trees, saplings and all that stuff, big, are surrounded by a plastic guard. Stop deer, rabbits, squirrels. God, Lola loves a squirrel more than the cat. She loves chasing squirrels. Unbelievable. Anyway, but they start eating the trees when they're baby trees, and so they have to protect them. These plastic things, so these plastics just sit in they pollute the ground, of course. Now, they've done this trial with Sure Green, which is a gardens centre place, but they've also got about 300 grand's worth of innovation funds from the government, and I think that's what it's about. I think they announced field trials, I think, on Monday. I think that's what's happening. But because they've done lab trials, it's all gone well. They've got kit there. They can weather and stress a bit of plastic, up to 7 years worth of stress within a few months. It's clever, that, isn't it? So they do that, but they're going to field. Yeah,
right.
That's good. That. So hopefully we'll see a bit of action on Monday from Biome Technologies. Are you a holder, guys? Do you hold?
Yeah.
Roger
does. Good.
Pad? Yeah, Pad does. He loves it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well into that. Sorry, I was just making a coffee.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got a really dry throat, actually. I went out last night with the kids not here. Me and the wife went on a bit of a date night, went for a curry.
Oh, really?
And
what did you do?
I'm just telling you. We went on a date night, curry, and a few drinks.
And
she fell asleep then. That was it. We get to the action end of the evening. She fell asleep. In fact, I've got a video of her snoring on the settee, which is romantic, isn't it?
Yeah, I think she does this deliberately just to avoid the action end.
I think that. Yeah, I think she likes the curry end of it, and the action end, she's snoring. So there we are.
Yeah, I think she was faking.
Brilliant. Yeah. Can she fake a bit later? Maybe not. Doing that bit.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So just sort of through company news. See, Gfinity, they should have their results out this week. Final results. First time ever under John's stewardship that they will see top line growth, margins improving, the business is going in the right direction. I don't know if you saw that. Epic Stream, since they acquired that back in December 2020, the site has grown from 600,000 monthly users to more than 3 million. MTG Rocks.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, MTG Rocks site reached 350,000 users in September, up 75% from the previous month, and we're on track to surpass it in October because they put on the new system, the new platform there. So there's just two they've acquired, massive growth, and of course, and also
Put those in the top line of the RNS.
Yeah, they didn't even announce they did, be involved in a launch campaign with Amazon. Just didn't even announce that.
Yeah.
That's
Casual.
Actually, look at that. It's a wrap on most of their sites. So if you go on most of their sites, you'll see that Amazon, that game that Amazon's launched. It's on most of the sites. So that's good there. And Truffin, I'm going to call it Truffin for now. Truffin.
Yeah.
Truffin, the Puffin. Did you see that on Satago on Twitter? They announced, we're hiring. We're in an exciting growth phase. And we're looking for enthusiastic and creative individuals. I'm glad looking for individuals rather than groups of people. Individuals who want to, we're looking for twins, who want to make a difference and help us disrupt the status quo. That's not the band, of course. But
Status.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I'm assuming that's, and of course, what is it? The 10th of December, we'll know whether Lloyd's sign them up. Well, I think they are, because if you go on Lloyd's website, they're using their product. So it's a good chance it's going to get done.
It's a bit of a giveaway.
Yeah. I had a call Richard this week from Polarian.
Oh, yeah.
What's he saying?
He doesn't want to talk down the FDA, but he thinks Jeff and well, they're busy. Let's put it that way.
Right.
Let's put it that way. But he's very confident.
Well, who are busy? The FDA?
Yeah, very, very, yeah.
The FDA are busy, or they're busy with the FDA?
The FDA are very busy. And,
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, if you look at the webinar, I explain the call in more detail. It's on the website. You can get it there. If you're a member, you can get it on the. I talk about it in depth there. But
it does make me wonder about the FDA. My Ukrainian friend's been banging on about them for the last year. How they're.
Why is he? If he's listen, Pad. If you've got a Ukrainian friend who's talking about the FDA for a year, I suggest he's not. Don't have him as your friend anymore. He sounds like he's obsessed with the FDA.
But also, what's his nationality got to do with
bloody
it?
FDA, man. I'm doing a Ukrainian accent. Hey, Pad. FDA, man. FDA.
No, that's not good.
No, I'm getting there. Let's just do it. But I'm telling you with the FDA, man, that no good. It's useless. Yeah. Don't trust the FDA. If you say every day for a year, Pad, why is he still your friend?
Oh, he's a good lad.
But he's slightly FDA obsessed. Hey, Paddy,
it's nice to hear other people's views on things, even though I've disagreed with the whole year. It's then interesting when something like this happens to something that you're personally involved in. You go,
why is he obsessed? Why is he obsessed with the FDA? And what are
he's a conspiracy theorist. He's a big conspiracy theorist. He loves all that rubbish, and most of it is absolute garbage. But sometimes within the garbage there is a little nugget of
truth,
of real nonsense.
Yeah. Hey, Paddy, did I tell you about the FDA? Yes, you have. Yes, you've been talking about it for a year. Okay, some things going on there, man.
Sorry, Paddy, I got to dig into this. Where does he live in the Ukraine, and does he call you up, or how does that work? What's the relationship?
No, London's a multicultural city. So,
he's your next door neighbour, basically.
Yeah, basically.
Well, he's over the garden fence.
Paddy rents the house off him.
Are you playing friend? Right.
Go on, Pad. So,
friends from all nationalities. What's the question?
Oh, no, I understand, Pad. So, what's his beef with the FDA? What connection does he have to the FDA? Is he going to, I don't understand.
So he's been watching all of these ridiculous documentaries and films on Instagram about the vaccine and the various processes.
No. On Instagram?
Yeah. So,
Have you not seen all this rubbish that gets shared on Instagram? My God, it's... Wow. I mean, some of it's very highly produced, and it looks. If you're not what I find fascinating about the people who have these questioning minds who want to question everything is that they draw the line at questioning the rubbish that comes down from Instagram. They don't want to question any of that. That's all fine, but they want to question everything else.
It's like Fred, my son, and Monty get most of their facts from TikTok, and they'll say something, and I say, I come to the stage now where I say, TikTok fact, and it's just a smile, TikTok fact, and he said, no. I said, it is, isn't it? Yes, but it's true. Every time they TikTok facts, that's all they got. They go, Dad,
but it's so concerning for the future, isn't it? I just think that's a real, because what is the truth anymore, and people just take anything as fact, and it's like, no, that's not a fact. Oh dear.
Yeah. Well, anyway, sorry. I don't mind if it is fact. I don't mind where it comes from, but if it's coming from a guy who's just looking for followers on TikTok and he's saying nonsense, Paddy,
Pad, what's his beef?
So his beef, he's been talking quite a lot about how the FDA is funded, how it changed recently or over the last few years from being funded from central government to being funded directly by the drugs companies. I don't know if that's true or not. So that is literally something that's me regurgitating someone who's learned something from Instagram.
Right.
That may or may not be true.
Do you know what I find, right? I find that people's lives are quite boring. Usually, in most situations, the mundane explanation is the one, but people don't want that. They want to believe the extraordinary rather than the ordinary. Now, FDA being overrun and overbusy and a bit disorganised is, it's ordinary, it's boring, but pretty accurate. Now, all the stuff about, it's been run from the inside by the pharmaceutical companies. Do you know what? That's more interesting, isn't it? Yeah. But it's not true.
Completely. I think in general, and the same with the government and all the coronavirus stuff, like in general, it's not people. I mean, there was obviously huge amounts of corruption, but in general, it's just people being incompetent.
Yeah, that's it.
Not really understanding, not being able to think a few weeks down the line. It's just one sort of string of incompetence rather than some huge master plan.
Yeah, listen, let's be honest. The Tories are geniuses. Now, I voted for them because I thought they were going to mess up the economy less than Corbyn, But they are geniuses at incompetence. I don't know anyone who can top them. They're phenomenal. They literally deny what they're going to do. Everyone's shouting do something. No, we won't do that. No. And say, well, next week you're going to do it, or even worse than that. No, we won't. And the next week they do that, and everyone says, knows what we just said. Oh, insane. Have you noticed? Actually, I'm not politically either way here. I just want someone to run the economy well, and I think everything else falls into place if you can do that. If you've got a fair government, but
it should be hard, should it? It really shouldn't be hard. No, it's just running a company. It's just a very big company.
Yeah, well, and it's odd, isn't it? How Labour are all wearing masks and Tories aren't. And it's almost like the Tories are not wearing masks because Labour are. And Labour are wearing them because it's sensible. But I think they're also wearing them to say, we're wearing it. And now they're going to be proved, even if you look at the benches now, say, well, Labour are probably a bit more right on this than Conservatives, which is a good thing for them. But and it's odd though. As you know, it's the energy price cap introduced to encourage, sort of a bit more competition in the energy field. That's going to do the opposite now, because all these companies are going through. They can't afford to sell gas to people. They've gone bust. So we're going to come down to the big five again now, whereas they're trying not to get away from that. So sometimes you've got to let the markets do what the market's going to do,
But it's a false market. There shouldn't be a market there at all. Like, it makes no sense. Like gas, it's all the same gas. And the idea that you're creating a market is absolutely crazy. Just have a nationalised company running it and just charge a decent price.
Yeah. But one of the things
I need to sell that off.
I can't not mention Escape Hunt, because it's part of the thing. It's part of the deal there. They opened Lakeside on Friday, which is a biggie, I think. But shall I run through just the thoughts of the top line of the metrics here, which I think is... okay.
Please do.
Okay. Average site, they reckon, right, 500k per year, right? But I think due to its location, 20 million, or 22 now they're saying, because on the leisure part, 22 million visitors per year, enough to fill Wembley Stadium each day of the year, by the way. Lakeside, I think, could be above that. Anyway, take the average, right? So I like the box economics here in your head. So per week, that's 10k per week on revenue, top line. 3k of EBITDA, 30% is the margins there. Per year, that's 500k, 150 EBITDA. Every site, what I like about it is every site incrementally adds the top line cash and value. So all I have to do is add sites. We know demand is there, because like growth, and also commercial landlords are desperate for tenants. So they're pushing on an open door here. Worth remembering, by the way, the inflection point where there will be cash flow positive. They're doing that now. By the way, Milton Keynes is next. Another 10k per week. Top line, 3k EBITDA, of course. And 19 sites end of the year. 10 million in revenue, pretty much. 3 million EBITDA. That's enough to open another 7 sites on that cash generated. So let's say 25 sites by next year, for example. That means 12.5 million in revenue, top line. That's sites alone. That's 3.7 million cash generated. And you keep doing that, adding on cash flow. And I think they get to the point where also add remote and digital, all that stuff. And basically, when they get to around about 50 sites, that's 32 or 33 million in revenue, profit of 13.5, PE 15 is 200 million, PE 20, fast-growing small cap company, 270, market cap now, that's a 10-bagger pretty much there, right there on 50 sites.
Steve, you jotted that down? Jotted all that down?
Mm-hmm. I'll send you notes after.
Yeah. Can you read that back, please?
I'll send you notes. But do you know what I like about it? The roadmap to 50 sites is a roadmap to 10 bags. Now, where else can you say... Like, Gfinity is doing very well, yeah, but they've got to acquire sites and all that stuff. They acquire, build... They'll probably do it. Of course they will. I have big confidence in it. But for Escaper, the roadmap is there. It's just that all they have to do is that. There's demand for the sites. Landlords want people to take sites there. So as long as they keep adding a site, 5 stars in every one of them on TripAdvisor, they're all getting excellent reviews. There's plenty of that. It's there. Now, all you have to do is sit and hold. But can people do that? No! Yeah. That's the hardest thing about investing. Literally, sit and do nothing. I bet you can't. If you said to someone, buy the stock now, okay, you get 10 bags in 5 years' time. But all you do is nothing. And some people can't do that. It's very hard.
I love the fact that you're angry at people doing what you used to do.
Because I've seen the light!
Yeah, okay, but...
Yeah,
no, I totally agree. Yeah, you've got to sit and hold.
No, I've said that all the time. The hardest thing for it sounds silly, but the hardest thing for anyone to do is nothing. Because we're not designed mentally, physically to do nothing. We're meant to do things, humans. Yeah. But when it comes to investing, so that if you invest in a good company, just sit and do nothing. I'm not talking about...
Just get an H&L account, and then you have no choice.
Yeah, that's it. Perfect. Exactly. There we are. Yeah. Or if you need to...
It takes you 5 days to log in, and then once you've logged in, you can't actually do anything.
Yeah. Pat, I do not know what your problem is. I don't have any issues with Harry and Larry's interface or platform.
I think it's because you've been slagging them off on the weekend podcast, Pat. I think Harry and I said, no, do you know, Paddy's been slagging us off again. Yeah, can't believe it. You listen to the weekend podcast, Harry, right? Yeah. He's slagging us off.
What you want to do, Pad? Yeah. What you want to do, Pad, is get the app. The app?
The app.
Get the app.
And then it's just Face ID then. Just log in. Easy.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, no, we're not going to let Paddy have that. We're not going to let Paddy have the app.
No, he's got a Ukrainian friend. We don't want that in there.
Yeah, because he's going to be...
None of you got Ukrainian friends?
No, I haven't.
No. I have. She's 93 years old. And, she comes around the house to do some stuff. And that was quite funny, actually. But
What?
That was quite funny. Last one, Paddy said... Paddy said, have you ever heard your neighbours, and he uses the F word, but making love? I say, I hope not. Daphne is 90 and she lives with her son, Steve. I would know. And Pete said, yes. But then they spotted me and chucked me out of the house. Hey, all right. That reminds me of that joke where this guy said I was rubbish in school. You know, the teacher say, stop staring through the window. Come back in the class. He's standing outside, so he's looking into just standing.
Yeah, we got it.
That's good. That I like that. You think he's in class, looking out, but he's not. He's actually outside the class. Stop staring through the window. Come back in the class. See, very good. That.
Got it.
Okay,
good. Is that it?
I think that's it, isn't it? Yeah.
Plenty. Absolutely plenty.
Yeah, absolutely. Marvellous.
Next time, guys, if my mic's not working for the first 20 minutes, say something.
Yeah, okay, we'll say that. Yeah, we'll point it out maybe by saying, your mic's not working, Pad. It sounds different, yeah? We'll do that.
That would be really helpful.
Yeah. And then you just say, no, it's not, nothing's changed.
And nothing's changed here, apart from the cable not being plugged in.
The Share Pickers Weekend Podcast with Justin, Paddy, Peter and Steve. The content of this podcast is not intended as investment advice. It is for information purposes only. People in this podcast may hold positions in the stocks they talk about. Do not buy anything based solely on a tip or recommendation. Please do your own research.